All right, well, good evening, everyone. Um, I want to call to order the October 1st Melanie Fitness Center Committee and Public Works Committee meeting. Um, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, prayer, Trustee Brown, can you lead us in prayer?
Father God, help us make a productive meeting this evening and hope the outcome will be something that will be beneficial to the village. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay.
Amen.
Thank you so much. We have Trustee Brown. We'll do a roll call. Trustee Steve, the committee chair of the Melanie Fitness Committee meeting, is here or present. Whether trustees are present.
Trustee Brown is present.
Trustee House is present.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna start with the Melanie Fitness Center at first, then we're gonna lead into Public Works. We have the village administrator on. We have the department head, the superintendent of Public Works, Matt Stacy, and we have the manager, the director of the water department, Miss London, on as well. And we have Sean McDonald, which is one of the mechanics for the Public Works, since we're going to be dealing with the condition of the equipment and the trucks. So he's on here as well. So the first part that we're going to cover is the update on the sale of the Melanie Fitness. As we know, I don't know if y'all do know, may not know, but I've been in communication with Pastor Dodd. And I talked to Pastor Dodd today, and they are definitely moving forward. He's bringing in different people. He says bringing in different people that are partner with him, but he's definitely it's definitely still on track. So I want to give you the mission statement that he has for Melanie Fitness moving forward. The vision statement, I should say, is to have a passionate connection with God, one another, and community. We believe in holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, financial. This will be an extension of our community partnerships, Meals on Wheels, before and after school care, and a wellness center. And that's what he's moving to. That's the goal for Melanie Fitness. So hopefully this will move forward smoothly, and we can make the Melanie Fitness Center into a whole wellness center that Pastor Dodd, I know anybody's familiar with Pastor Dodd, that his church, they did a walkthrough. I said this before the board, they did a whole walkthrough of the Melanie Fitness, his whole church committee. So it's moving forward. Any questions on that?
Two questions. When you will they still be offering memberships the way that the Melanie Fitness Center, we say a family wellness center, will it have memberships? What will that look like? Or will it be more of a nonprofit style?
I think from my understanding, it will be a combination of both. So they'll keep the gym aspect of it, and they'll add some components to it. And I guess, as we move forward, we'll definitely get down to the details. Right now, he's just focusing on the funding, and then once he gets everything, then we have to sit down, at least come to a price that we all, the village, the board, the mayor, everybody can agree on, and go from there. But he definitely wants, from me and him talk, he definitely want to keep a wellness center and a fitness center at the same time, so it would still have memberships.
Okay. And has he given a targeted time frame for his more formal proposal?
No, I'll ask him about that. I just got the phone today, and I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll give him a call and give me a good date to shoot for, because I have on the standby, which is a Dalton resident. I have a guy who we can list it with. So if this don't work out, which I think it will, we can list it. I didn't want to list it because list it, that person will get the commission off of anything that if we make this, he get the commission off of it. So I'll get that. I get a good lockdown date from him, so we won't be in the win 3 months from now.
And I would say, I know that because he's looking at different funding, he may want to be conservative. We just want to be mindful that that time is a component of the sale. So we want him to have something that he can feel comfortable with, but we don't want to drag this out, ad nauseum.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Trustee Brown, any input, or Administrator Scott?
No, Ed, I'm good.
No, I'm good. We just, we went on the tour the other day. I met one of the possible investors who was, he was very interested. He was a doctor, specifically a chiropractor. He did mention that several of his patients are Melanie Fitness membership people. And a lot of them are seniors, but they're people who were members, former members of Melanie Fitness. So he was very interested in keeping the gym component and adding some other things that would involve the community. So I think it's a great opportunity for the community to keep something that is for the community in the community versus someone else who may come and do something else, with the property. So I am hopeful that Pastor Dodd will purchase this building, and it's sounding like he's going to purchase it. So
I had another investor who he was definitely interested, but he was saying, well, if I get it, I'm definitely not keeping the gym. So I kind of shied away. I know the community needs a place that we can go work out in and have some type of health and wellness center in the community. Anything else before I move on? No. The next thing is the reimbursement of membership fees. We've been slowly but surely gathering information on the reimbursement fees. People been calling and texting. I think some reimbursements are coming up on this next warrant list. So people who, if you're listening to or you watch it, please email or call. Somebody called, I think Morgan this week. I reached out to that person. I got the information. So we are gathering information, and as they come in and we got a list, we'll start sending that out, and we're going to be calling people to verify addresses, everything like that. But that stuff will be going out soon, between this month and next month. Administrator Scott, did I say anything wrong on that, or anything you want to add to that?
no, that is correct. We just have a lot of accounts that we've been reviewing just to make sure that we have the, the numbers right and the reimbursements. So we've had to look over each account. We can't just print out, it's not one set amount. Some people paid for the year, some people paid monthly. So we're having to go by a membership by membership basis, but we will have everyone's, we're hoping to have everyone's reimbursement fulfilled by November, the next board meeting, between this board meeting and the next board meeting. That's it, trustee.
Yeah. Trustee House, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Trustee Brown?
I'm good, Ed, thanks.
Okay. All right, so that's the update of what's going on with Melanie Fitness. We still upkeep the pool. We still, try to keep the place clean. Only thing that we turned off on the pool was the heat, because there's no need to keep it heated because nobody's getting into it. But we still have the water running, the filters running, because water sitting there will come stagnated and turn into bacteria and other things. So the upkeep of the gym is still there, and of course the detox cafe is still open. And I talked to Pastor Dot, and they definitely want to keep her as a tenant, because she's a great addition to the. So they definitely want to keep her. So that's pretty much the update, Melanie Fitness. Again, if anybody got any questions who see this or call or see this video or this meeting, you can always email me at esteve@bodalton.org, or you can reach out to me or the village administrator or the village if you got any questions. So we're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to Public Works, the Public Works Committee. Trustee House, you can stay in if you want, please. I will, you can stay in if you want. The first item on the Public Works Committee agenda item is condition of the vehicles. So Matt, could you talk about the conditions of the vehicles and what vehicles are, and you have the mechanic on so he can chime in as he feel need.
Yeah. The first one I want to speak about is one of our plow trucks that covers our main roads, D14. We had some issues with the transmission over the summertime. It took us quite a bit of time to find the parts to hopefully fix it. We thought the way it was diagnosed, they told us that it was possible it could have been a couple of solenoids. It took us a while probably about 2 to 3 weeks to get the solenoids in because that truck is a 1999. It's pretty hard finding all of the parts for that because I believe it's after 10 years they stopped carrying parts on the shelves for any of the big trucks because they're moving them out all the time. That's one of them. We got the parts in, we fixed it. I want to say we spent anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 on it, possibly $2,000 if you include the man hours. Sean pulled the transmission apart, changed all the solenoids, put it back together. We crossed our fingers and started up, and it didn't go anywhere. So the transmission on that's an Allison transmission. Those are very pricey, I should say. I don't know what our next step is. That's why I'm bringing it to the committee. Sean, I don't know if you know of anything else that we can repair or if we're just going to need a new transmission. That's why I brought you here tonight, just to give us a little quick intel on it.
Well, we were initially hoping that the the solenoids would fix the issue, because it will not shift into drive and it will not move. It's pretty much stuck at where it's at in this spot. As Matt said, it is very hard to find parts for these trucks because, for one, the age is I believe that one's a 99, and we're well beyond the 10-year mark. So, I mean, finding parts is like, next to none. The way it's looking now, I mean, with what we got into it, it's looking probably for a full transmission replacement, but that is going to be like finding like a needle in a haystack for this truck. I mean, honestly, and
we had to send it out. You got to look at the cost. It's a big 10-wheeler.
oh yeah,
Have it towed. To me, it's a lot of money.
And that's the D14 you want you send the pictures of?
Yeah, the one I sent the pictures of, as you can see, the bed was rusting out. It's a steel bed on it. It's not stainless steel. The body of it's trust me, it's done its time.
it's done way beyond its time. It's done. You guys got a good run of that truck.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that we replace this truck? That you saying?
I would say yes, because we have 5 plow trucks. Now, with that one being down, we're taking one truck specifically to stay on our main roads like Chicago Road, Lincoln, Sibley, 154th, Woodlawn. We won't have that truck. We'd have to take one of the trucks out of its route come wintertime to plow. I don't know what kind of winter we're going to have. They're saying we're supposed to have a rough winter. So
Yeah.
our trucks are getting up there in age. We're doing what we can to keep them going. We're babying them. Maintenance is being done to them. Sean's we got a program. Sean is keeping up with the maintenance every whatever miles it is or whatever month. So, we're taking care of them.
So the question I got, we got 2 trucks last year, right?
Yes.
So where did they fit in? Yes, into the fleet.
Those 2 are going to be the frontline trucks as well. Those are, I don't remember offhand, are those
D1 and D2?
11 or a 9 and 11, 9 and a 10? But
I think 11 and 12.
Yeah, those trucks, those are running fine. We did maintenance to them. I had Sean go through them, very well just to make sure. But the other 3 prior to that are the ones that we purchased in 2015. Those were the 3 trucks that the mayor purchased with Stan in 2015. Those are 05 and an 07, 2 05s and an 07 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are creeping up. We got one that's going down now. It's got a water pump that's leaking. These are our dump trucks that we have to use every day. Load
Right.
pickups, branch pickups, coal patching. We're using them trucks every day.
Okay, another question I got, and Liz, you can chime in on this one. From my understanding, last year we had a specific fund that was set aside for stuff like this. Is there anything left in that fund to make a purchase like this?
What fund are you referring to, trustee?
I think the fund that we purchased the 2 vehicles out of last, I think it was I forget the name.
Capital expenditure.
You're
Yeah,
probably referring to what do you mean, the capital improvement?
yeah.
I mean, we do have some money, but I am anticipating that I am going to be receiving some of that money that I'm applying for the 747,000, and we may be able to look at utilizing some of that funding possibly.
Okay. Okay. So we might be able to use some of that to purchase a upgraded vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any Trustee Brown, anything you want to ask or input?
Well, the only thing I have to say, it looks like we're gonna have to purchase another vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, it's only so many repairs you can do, and that's the end of it. So looks like we're gonna be in the out trying to purchase another vehicle, and that depends on if we purchase or lease, whichever, you know, it's depending on the budget, what we can actually handle.
Right now, me and Sean have an appointment tomorrow with a vendor from one of the international truck companies. He was telling us that they do a lease program, but one thing we got to understand is the trucks are not on the lot. They build the trucks as we need them. So if we wanted to lease 2 of them, they would build 2 trucks, plows, spreaders, everything, and they would lease them to us. I don't know the prices yet. I'm going to get more information on that tomorrow. But he said a lot of our surrounding towns, Blue Island. Sean, do you recall any other ones?
Yeah, I remember Blue Island was a main one. I think he may have said Tinley Park.
They
Yeah.
lease the vehicles.
Yeah, a couple of the other surrounding towns is what they do is they lease these for a year or 2 years, 3 years, and then they trade them in and get new ones.
Yeah.
So if you're going to lease them every 3 years, he said they basically tell them like in the second year, yeah, we want to lease 2 more. So then they start building them, and then when the new ones come in, you swap them out.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically, the only thing you're going through is your maintenance.
right.
Just tires, brakes. But I'm gonna have more of an idea on what the cost is on that. But like I said, if we were, you know, example, if we were to do it, we're not gonna see them probably until summer of next year.
Oh wow. But we need them for this summer, this winter, right?
Now, I haven't checked with the guy that we bought these from, if he's got any on the lot. But I did find a Freightliner dealer in Ohio who has a few on the lot. And the starting price for those are 190,000. Those have the plows already, the spreaders. It's jump in and go plow snow, do what we gotta do.
Okay. All right. Trustee House, any input?
Just I mean, I would say it's just critical to make sure to keep Administrator Scott, Chris, and Matt all working together on this. Obviously, if it's going down, we're going to need to do it. Just finding a way that is the most feasible within the budget. There is money that we put within the budget for new equipment, so this would fall into that category. However, you know, when we put things in the budget, doesn't mean the cash is in the bank at the moment we're ready to spend it. So we have to make sure that we're balancing it. So I think that partnership between the 3 is going to be critical.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess Matt Stacy, I guess move out, just get some prices and stuff that we can look at. And I guess we have to make the decision because we're going into November. And I'll try. I mean, Administrator Scott, when do you think you'll have that answer as far as what we can use that money for? Because I see it's on the agenda coming up next week.
Not as a matter of what we can use it for, because I'm going after reimbursement of things like payroll. So the money is not segregated to having to use it for specific items, unlike MFT funds or capital improvements.
Mm-hmm.
So it is money that we can, it's just reimbursing us for basically our payroll and COVID related items. So we can do what we want with the money, but you know, I just want to think smart.
Yeah.
And I was discussing with the mayor today about some of the options as far as the money. And I also do want to put some of the money up as far as, if we do have to, we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic, just to have a little bit of a cushion, but we can definitely take a look at it. But like I said, they're not funds that are segregated only for specific uses.
Okay. All right, so I guess let's move forward. At least let's get some prices and some stuff like that, and we can go from there.
All right, now,
Trustee Steve, can I add one point?
Yes, sir.
The guy that me and Matt found from it's Rush International, he did mention to me that as far as leasing, he said they're really flexible with what the village can, pretty much work with. So it can be anywhere from a year lease to up to 8 years. So it's, there's wiggle room. So we can find out more when me and Matt discuss with him tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
so we'll get some information, pricing and all that, and we'll get it back to you guys as soon as we can.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the condition of buildings.
Yeah, I spoke with Scott. We got our one building in the front has a leak in the roof. It's starting to leak pretty bad. So Scott's going to tarp it.
What building is that?
That's the front office building.
Front office building. Okay,
Yeah.
the main building, the main building. Okay.
It's got a roof leak by the workers' locker room, and I don't want no hazards or anything of them slipping and falling because there is a set of stairs right there. So Scott's going to get up there and tarp it, do some measurements, figuring out what we need to repair the roof, and we'll get prices to you on that. The same thing with the garage roof in the main garage. We have some holes in there. He fixed the one because that was raining just as hard in that room as it was outside. He got that one fixed, but we still have some other ones he's gonna start repairing when we get some nice weather, because it's a steel roof, and the more we let it go, the more it's gonna rust away.
You say nice weather. We
Yeah. So he's kind of got his hands full with the street light project going on uptown, and the other day we had to bounce over to the police department. So I told him as soon as we get a day, we'll get up there, get that covered up, get some pricing, and let the board know where we're at with that.
All right. Oh, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And is it possible that I think I like how you sent the pictures of the truck. Maybe when Matt Scott get up there, y'all can take some pictures of it to show the condition inside and out.
Yeah, not a problem. We can do that.
All right. Any other trustee or administrator, Scott? You want any input on that?
No, I just reiterating what Trustee House said. We just want to be in the loop as far as for the financial aspect, and that's great.
I'm good at.
All right. So next item on the agenda is adding the mechanic. If Matt, if you can start off by the need of why we need to add a mechanic, and then Administrator Scott and Trustee House can chime in on the financial aspect of were we even in a position to add a mechanic?
Right. Yeah, that's why I put in there the budget on the bottom. I just wanted to be aware of what's in the budget and how we can do that. The adding of another mechanic, we need another mechanic due to Sean having the workload that he has. He's got Ken as a mechanic helper, but Ken is not, doesn't get into a lot of the diagnostics, electrical repairs, engine repairs. And we have police, fire, public works, and the housing department that we have to maintain. In prior years, we had a mechanic for each department plus a helper. I understand budget restraints and all that, but a second mechanic, we put applications have been turned in the past. We looked through a couple, found one that's got electrical background, engine, worked at a Ford dealership, all that. It relieves some of the pressure on Sean. Sean's got a lot on him from going from a fire truck to a police car to a public works truck. Sean deals with a lot of the diesel on the fire and public works side. Then if he has to help the mechanic helper with something or make sure he's doing it properly, in case he doesn't know, but we need a second mechanic. It'd be very good. Sean, if you wanna put in anything.
Yeah, well, you pretty much touched most of the points, but yeah, we're constantly backed up. At having an older fleet, and most of our vehicles are beyond the maintenance point, so things break at a moment's notice, and I could be doing a fire truck one day, and then I'll bounce to a police car, and then I'll bounce to housing department vehicle. So having another set of hands would definitely save us a lot of time and money, instead of like having vehicles sitting outside or being sent out to a dealer to get fixed, or it'll be a drastic help. Drastic.
Plus also, with the second mechanic, we'll have the two mechanics plus the helper. We can start pulling the police cars to come to Public Works to get the basic oil change,
Yeah.
fluids, check the tires, out the door. This
Yeah.
way we can hopefully try and save from going to the oil change place where they take them right now. So hopefully hiring a mechanic will also save us some money as well.
Yeah.
Did
We're
we recently lose someone?
Yeah, we lost Alberto left. He was the other mechanic. He left right at the beginning of the year, maybe February, March, I think it was.
yeah, before the pandemic.
Yes,
So this wouldn't really be an addition. This would be a replacement.
Placement.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. So so we just I guess like you said, it's really not adding to the budget. It's just replacing somebody that was already budgeted for.
Right. So that funding still should be in our budget, correct?
I got to check with Chris on that. I know one of them is, but I'm not sure if it's one or two because of the way they fell when they left the budget year. But I believe it is in there.
It
Man,
is in,
when did the I'm sorry, Liz.
it is in the budget. Also, we're looking to, because we do have to stay in compliance with the AFSCME contract, and we have bargaining coming up, I am looking to bring on two employees to to Public Works.
Right. And I guess that goes into the current manpower shortage to the next item.
Absolutely. And also of those two people, one of those two will be a mechanic.
Right. And are we at the union limit? Are your union numbers?
No, we are not. So I want to get in compliance with that.
How many below are we? How many are we off from that?
We're off by 3.
Go ahead, Matt.
We're off by 3. The contract states 19. We're at 16 right now.
Okay.
Now, are we able to meet the contractual needs with the 19, or we're not as far as funding?
Yes, we will be able to, because that already, like was stated, it was in the budget. We had someone leave, we had a couple people leave. We did not replace them. So we do have that in the budget, and we do need to be, up to speed with the AFSCME contract.
Do we have any candidates available that have applied?
I have looked at a couple. I need to look them over some more, but we do have a few applications and we're narrowing them down now.
Okay. Do you know what the time frame would be?
I'm hoping to call some people in and we've done some interviews. Matt and I did an interview earlier. I think it was this week. Matt, was it this week or was it Friday? Matt?
Hear
Well,
me?
we interviewed someone within the past week.
Yeah.
So we are looking, I'm hoping to be able to fulfill that this month.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And also, I guess we really covered all of them. The last 3 was adding mechanic, current manpower shortage, and budget.
Right. I just,
Oh.
I asked about the budget just because of the issues with the vehicles and all that. I just wanted to know if, in case we need to know numbers or whatnot, or where we stood with the budget with the vehicles and that.
Okay. So I got another question for Matt. How is the I get a lot of calls about debris still being out from that storm we had a few weeks ago. How has that been coming as far as getting that stuff up?
We've had the trucks out working. The chipper was down, getting maintenance done to it. It was a couple issues with it, but that's up and running now. So we're out moving. We're picking up debris on the streets. We got the loader out picking it up, the chipper out picking it up. And then we've been trimming some trees that have had issues and all that with it, but we're out and about, we're moving. The problem is, the minimum staffing, it gets rough because when you're out cutting a tree, you got to have at least 3 to 4 people out there just for safety reasons and all that. And then you got other people out on other jobs. We've been doing turnoffs, water shutoffs. We've been digging up bee boxes, shutting them off. So our few guys that we have, they get spread out fast and, with other jobs as well. So we're out there, we're moving. It's just, it's taking us a little time.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions?
I got a quick comment. I just want to thank Matt and Sean and the team for the work that they do with the manpower given. We don't want to let that go unsaid or understated.
We appreciate it. And I'll make sure I pass the word on to the guys.
Yeah. Please pass that word on to the guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, how is the turnaround time when somebody calls and they say, do you call it back? How does that process even work?
We got the 2 ladies that are in the office right now. The only time residents may call in and not get an answer is from 11:30 to 12. What I did was I split the girls' lunches. One of the girls goes from 11 to 12, and then the other one goes from 11:30 to 12:30. So this way there's only a 30-minute gap in between them being gone. And also myself, John, Mike, we usually eat lunch in the office. So if the phone's ringing, we're answering it. But if we do miss it, they come in, they check their voicemails and all that, turn around, they're calling the people back within the hour or by the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Any other questions before we move on to the water department? No. Okay. We're gonna move on. This is not on the agenda. I should have been on there, but we definitely have to get an update of what's going on in the water department. Ms. London, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off. I talked to Ms. London today, and can you give the board, this committee, an update of the water bills being late? Are they late? Have they went out late? How many? But just give us the whole rundown on this water bill being late, and how has that been rectified, and how moving forward, well, it will not happen again.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So as far as the water bills, of course, we were closed for the month of June due to COVID, so we were behind. But as of today, District 1 is current. It just went out in September. District 2 is being read currently, and I anticipate it to go out on time, which the bills are due to go out in October, so they're going to be out on time. We had a problem with District 2 last month going out about 2 weeks late. I think we discussed that in the last meeting, but we are current. We are now starting to apply the penalties to the water bills. No problems with commercial and district. They're on time as well. I did have a meeting with Liz today. We will be changing the dates that the water bills go out. There's a new printing company, that we're dealing with. So when I sent out District 1 this month, I gave approval the same day. So according to their emails, the bills went out the very next day. Residents from District 1 are coming in with their water bills, so they have been receiving them.
I got a question.
Yes.
On the water bill, district reading of the month. So when it says District 1 should close to go out in September, what date is that? So District 2 says October. What date is that throughout the month? That's supposed.
So the bill's been going out towards the end of the month. So like District 1 goes out in September. It's usually around the 25th or after, like unless it's a holiday or something that causes it to go out the 27th, 28th, or that weekend. It falls on a weekend, it may go out a couple days later. But for like District 1, it says September is usually at the end of the month. So District 1 went out on, I got it to the printing company on the 23rd. From my understanding, they were at the post office for mailing by the 25th.
Okay. So the next one is October, and we're in October now. So when should District 2 go out this month?
It would be going out the 25th.
The 25th of that month.
Or by the 25th of October.
Is that the normal time that it always goes out?
Yes. But
Okay.
like I said, I met with Liz today and she wants to switch the billing dates to the beginning of the month. So instead of them going out the 25th, it'll go out, just say November. District 3 is November. Instead of going out November 25th, they will be going out like November 5th versus the 25th. And she says that this would, well, we talked about that way we can get the bill to go out on the 5th and get the payment in the same month. They'll still have the 20-day grace period, but the payments will come in on the same month.
Okay. Okay. Any
So
input?
those some changes.
Okay,
sorry?
wasn't this the same process we supposed to have before?
So I pulled up a bill history and I spoke to a previous administrator that ran the water department. I guess this was a process that was happening back in 2015, 14. I've been in the water department for a little over a year. So since I've been there, from Barbara training, the bills have been going out at the end of the month. But when I met with Liz today and I spoke with the old administrator, we identified that maybe in 14 to 15, the bills will come out at the beginning of the month. So this has been changed for some time now. I even printed a bill history and it did show that the bills were coming out at the end of the month, even in 2018 and 17.
Okay, Liz, can you explain that calendar that we have that's the schedule for the water bill?
Okay, yes, trustee. So there was someone who worked in the water department for over a decade. I recommended that we speak with her, and because when I was brought on in 2015, she actually trained me about the water bills. And the chart that she gave was, for example, if a bill goes out in October, that means it's the previous months. So it's, what is that, July, August, September.
Mhm.
Typically in the past, the bill would go out usually the first day or two of that month, and it would be due the same month, but around the 21st, 25th, whatever it was, to allow 20 days per the ordinance for a resident to have time to turn around and pay the bill. Somehow over the course of the past few years, it's gotten lost in translation. That's the best way I can put it. And I think that's due to, you have a turnover of employees. So people, will tweak and do things their own way. But I want to go back to the way that the residents are familiar with. I think the way that is easiest. So Sonia and I sat down and we created a timeline of, this is the
Right.
timeline when the meter reading should be turned in. This is the timeline that the bill should be sent to the printer. And this is the timeline. And we gave a few days of allowing for approval, submission of possibly some errors and corrections with the printing company, and the time that it should go out. And this has not been done before. There has been conversation about improving the bills. Sonia and I sitting down and coming out with clear dates and deadlines for when things need to be out. We did do that. And I am going to work with her to make sure that the bills go out on time.
Okay.
So again, we should not be reviewing this same issue again next month.
And I agree, trustee. I agree.
So the thing is, we're changing the dates that the bills go out. The bills are not going out late. I think they're saying the word term is late because we're not receiving the payment the same month. So with the changes that me and Liz discussed, we'll get the bills out in the same month and receive the payment. The problem is some pros and cons to it for that I see. I just think that the notice to the residents is going to cause a issue, and then for seniors and fixed incomes. But as far as us getting the revenue and being easily to identify, shut off or not paid on time, that's a benefit for the village.
So if we go back to, so you're saying for the last year or 2 years, it's been going out the 24th to 25th.
So right, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
By switching to this is going back to what it used to be, which residents are used to, getting at
Yes.
the end of the month.
Which this change, they haven't had it like that since like 2014, 2015. So when I spoke to the previous administrator that was over the water department, this was the system that she used. So the other con to this is we're doing this change. We might see an increase of estimated bills. And to do this change immediately, that means the meter reader have to read 2 districts at once, as well as the commercial bills to make this effective immediately. So that's the problem. But
how many were they reading previously?
You only read 1 district at a time, a month.
So where's the from my understanding, the disconnect was at one time that the meter readers were not turning in the readings on time. Do we not have enough manpower as far as meter readers? Or where's the disconnect in there?
Okay, so since I've been, the meter readers are now with Matt in the Public Works, but there hasn't been a difference in the amount of readings that's been done. But what I can honestly say, they pull a report and they looking at a report that shows their readings, and it is kind of calculated about 50%. I don't think that's a true estimate of what they're reading, because there are residents that do not open the door, that's not home, and we get a yellow card, which still is an actual read, but it does show that the meter reader's been at the property. So as far as a lot of residents still do not know when to turn in their yellow cards. That's one of the problems in the water department.
Okay, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have my water bill.
Okay.
It has 20-some consumptions.
Okay.
He has not been in my house.
What district are you in?
I'm in 1.
Okay. So you have a 20-some consumption. You have an average estimate.
Average estimate.
Do you have an E on your water by your reading?
No, I have an A.
That's an actual bill.
Do you have a touchpad outside of your home?
The touchpad would be, I don't recall seeing a touchpad. I was told I had a touchpad.
We would have to probably send a meter reader over there, because if you have an outside touchpad, that's how he got that reading.
Trustee Brown, you have that little black circle on the outside of your house. A little black circle is something they just plug right into, get your reading and keep it moving.
If it's an A, you might have an outside touchpad, and so they don't have to enter your home to get that reading.
Okay, I'll have to check. I got to check into that.
Trustee, where's your water meter in your house?
It's on the
Southeast corner of the house?
Yes.
All right. When you go outside, well, actually, if you go down and look at your water meter and you see a gray wire, if you see a gray wire coming off, then just follow it out the wall, and your touchpad would be on the other side, outside.
That's why I said I don't recall seeing a touchpad over there. That's what I'm saying. I know where the wire goes and where the meter is at, but I don't see a touchpad.
Okay.
No, it's not a touchpad though. That's the same.
I'm saying I don't even see a little black box. I know what you're telling me to look for. I don't even see that.
Right. Check it out, and we'll look more into it.
Okay.
So I got a question. So if we move this, Administrator Scott, if we move this back to what residents are used to, do we run a risk of should we gradually do this, or if they've been used to getting these bills around 21st, 25th, the middle of the month, 21st of the month, And if we go back to the first of the month, do we run a risk of, oh, I was used to, now it's early, you know, are we running a risk for that? Administrator Scott? Elizabeth?
I'm sorry, my phone was acting up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, what were you saying?
Are we running a risk if we switch this? If we switch so we're saying like the past year, 2 years, they've been used to getting their bill around the 21st of the month. And if we switch it to go back to what they've been used to years ago at the beginning of the month, do we want to gradually change that, or do we want to do it right now?
I think we should get people's water bills out on time. And that is something that was done for years. I also asked Janice. She
Mhm.
told me that that's how it always was done. So I want to just try to do it, you know, the right way. I mean,
So-
if we don't start doing somewhere, I feel like we'll always be trying to
Mhm.
catch up, because there's deadlines, you know, every month for each district. And I think we should just go back to the dates that we're familiar with, the
Yeah.
way that it was being done, the dates and the way it was done that the residents are familiar with and that they can, you know, that they're used to.
Okay.
So we
And
actually,
I realize that's why the residents keep saying the bills are going out late, because technically they are.
Yeah.
Because we
Oh,
never informed
so-
anyone that we were changing the system. And
So-
you can't just put out the bills whenever you want. There's dates, there's
So we-
deadlines, and we just
so
somehow changed them and didn't inform the residents. And, you know, and it should be consistent. I think it should be consistent. I don't think we should send the bills out one month on the 19th, the next month on the 15th, the next month on the 5th, because it does throw people off. And it makes it harder in the office. It also affects our cash flow and our intake when I spoke with Chris. And that's, you know, significant also. So I think that I don't think it's going to confuse the residents. I actually think the residents will be relieved, but we will find out at the next board meeting after we do release these bills. You know, the residents will give us the necessary feedback that we need to know. And if we need to adjust, then we can.
So we can actually say we're not changing dates. We're just going back to what we were originally doing in the first place.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, so this is a problem I see, because in the water department, so I guess this was taking effect in 2014. So changing the dates is gonna have an effect on the residents, because they've been used to getting these bills at the end of the month for the last 4 or 5 years. So what I see is the time that they have to turn in their readings are gonna change, and we need to notify them. I also see that the seniors and fixed incomes, they probably used to paying by the first of the month, and then there's no change. So we're going to have an increase of complaints. We're going to have an increase of estimated bills. But over time, after teaching them what we're doing, it'll get better over time. But we have to understand we're going to have an increase of complaints, people possibly being shut off for non-payment, and also more estimated bills until we get through implementing this new system, well, changing it back to the old way. They've been receiving these bills. I've been billing, and it's been at the end of the month, and it's usually around the 25th until the COVID thing, but they've been receiving these bills at the end of the month for the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Another question. What if we put a letter in the before the next billing cycle, and you know, let the residents know that starting in your next billing cycle, you will get it, you know, as you used to get it at the beginning of the month instead of the end of the month. Would y'all say that is a good way to do it, or just make it early, make it at the beginning of the month?
Well, when I met with Liz today, one of the things I suggested is let's put this on the actual bill. Like, figure how we can put this on the actual bill, that the bills will be mailed, or readings are due by the 2nd of your billing date, and your bills are subject to come out around the 5th. I feel like we need to give them some type of notice, because I've had a higher increase of yellow cards coming in, but I've been teaching the residents that they're due, before the 15th. Your bills come out by the 25th or after. I've even preached it in a lot of our council meetings. So I I'm game for the change or going back to how we used to do it. I just would love to give the residents notice because I mean, we're short manpower, so I have to deal with each one of these complaints. And then people are going to be upset about getting estimated bills. They at work and they're thinking that their yellow cards are due by the 15th, but it's really due by the 2nd. And they don't have no notice. So they're going to get an estimated bill and then they're going to call and say, why am I estimated when I turned in a yellow card? So that is only my complaint about changing it. I think that in all fairness, they need to be notified. I'm okay with the change for revenue purposes and getting the bills out and paying the same month. Not necessarily they're going to pay the same month either. So yeah, I mean, you're going to get some people to pay the same month, but just because the due date is the 25th don't mean they're going to pay that same month. They still may pay the next month by the 1st or the 7th. We're going to get a high call volume of my bills due on the 25th. Can I make a payment arrangement because I don't get paid to the 5th? I don't have the manpower to take those calls right now. We still are understaffed. I have 2 clerks.
So another question, and being that Trustee House and Administrator Scott, how are we looking on getting her some help over there?
Well, we do have candidates that have interviewed. We're just waiting on those candidates to be hired.
Okay.
Administrator Scott, you got anything you want to say about add to that?
No, I think the people who aren't going to pay their bills on the 25th, they're people who don't pay their bills anyway. I know that most bills, when they come, when it's other bills, other utility bills, they give you around the same time of a grace period. I think we won't know till we try, but I know that as far as turning in cards and still getting estimates, in all honesty, we get some of those calls as it is now. But I think that if we don't try something different, we're not going to get different results. I do think that is why when you ask the residents why they keep saying the bills are late, if they're getting the bills, why would they keep saying the bills are late? It's because they are late, because those are not the times that that's not how it's always been. And the residents are familiar with that as far as fixed income. That's not going to change the fact of whether or not someone pays their bill. People who pay their bills are going to pay their bills. Most of the residents in the village, I want to say, they do pay their bills, and they're good residents. But we do have, about 20% of the residents that, for whatever reason, don't pay their bill. They're delinquent. They may go years without paying their water bill. But the majority of the residents pay their bills. They're responsible, and we don't have any problems. But I do think we will see a decrease in the complaints. But we can also put something out. Sonia and I talked about notifying the residents, also putting it on channels, channel 99 and whatever channel 4, I think it is. And also we can even put something out as far as a mailer in the envelope when the bills come out, explaining that we are going back to the old dates. And we can even send outlines of when the dates, the bills will be going out, just for clarity for the residents.
Okay. Well,
Let me ask a question. So the billing date, you actually giving a resident 21 days to pay their bill, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not making a change. We're just going back to where we were before. We just had fell off. We're not making a change because the bill is, for me, District 1, my bill date is the 25th.
Right.
Okay. My billing date is the 25th of September.
Right.
It's due the 15th. So I got actually 20 days.
Right.
This is the way it's always been. The only time they made a change is when the bills go out late.
Exactly.
So we're just going back.
We're not
making a change. We're not making a change. We're just going back to what we were doing before.
right. So we're not making what we're changing. You did it back in. So what I'm saying is it was happening in 2014, maybe 15. So it'll be a change for the resident again. So we are making a change on when their bills will go out, which means it's also a change in when the readings and yellow cards need to be submitted.
So you said we're changing the way it's
We're going back to how it was, but we are making changes. We're changing the bill date to come out 20 days sooner, and we're changing when the readings are done.
Okay, the bill date been coming out 20 days before. You probably changing the reading date, but the bill date
We're
has
changing-
always been 20 days to 20 to 21 days to give you to pay your bill.
No, that's the grace period to pay your bill. So right now, currently,
grace period.
The grace period is the 20 days. What we're changing from coming out on the 25th, so your bill you're holding, it came out on the 25th. We're changing it from coming out on the 25th to just say the 5th. And then the bill will be due on the 25th.
And you still got the 20 days.
You still get 20,
you're not losing the grace
20
period.
days regardless. The whole
Exactly.
thing, the whole thing in this water bill, the issue that we've been having is the bills are going out late.
Yeah, so when you
That's
say
been the big
late,
issue.
the bills, so just like your bill came out on the 25th, so the residents was, and it's due on the 15th, some residents was receiving them on the 8th or the 9th. They're not really in the mail, so they're not getting that true 20-day grace period that they would like. So what happened, so after the last meeting I had with you all, I email every time I send out, like I sent out District 1, I sent it to them. I said, please confirm that you received it. They confirmed they received it. And then I asked for a 24 to 48 hour approval. They gave it to me. I sent it on the 23rd. They gave me the bills back to review on the 24th. I approved it. And then from their email response, they had it at the post office by the 25th. So it's a new person there. So what happened in the past, it was taking them about three to 4 days to send it back to me for. And by the time it got to the post office, the sorting, that was another 2-3 days before it hit the mail, and the residents was getting it around the 8th. So when they say I'm getting my bills late or the bills was late again, they're referring to not having that grace period.
Okay, but if they're not having a grace period, again, there's a disconnect with us possibly sending it to the printer or with us getting those readings. So there is a disconnect somewhere in there. We were not turning those bills in and getting it to the printer on time. And then again, with the post office, you got to give some time for them to make sure that those bills get out early. So we probably had to do our thing a couple of days earlier to make sure these things get out on time.
Right. So the bill you had got to the printer on the 23rd. They did whatever they needed to do, and they said it was at the post office by the 25th.
All right. So Trustee House, do you have any input?
Yes, I have a few thoughts, but I mean, I think that this is definitely an issue that requires a lot of people to come together, because I think we have a few different understandings, and it's good that Ms. London and Administrator Scott are working together on this. Because in the Finance Committee meeting, one of the things that repeatedly is said is that the bills are going out late. Now, whether that means it's not getting to the printer or something, I kind of echo Trustee Brown's sentiment that something's happening to the point that the residents are not getting enough of a time frame, which is resulting in the village waiving the late fees. I think we really want to just make sure that we're all working together, and I say we, the board, Administrator Scott, the water department, so that if something's coming out, I would hope we would get maybe a notification ahead of time. So if the bill does happen to get out late, the board will know, so that we can anticipate the calls versus getting the call and then trying to figure out what happened. I do also recognize in the meeting we talked about a shortage of staff, and those things can be contributing. So if there's things that from the board level that we need to do in terms of making sure there's enough money in the budget and things to support, I think it's incumbent on the board to do that. I think it's also equally important that we hire people and get everything in. So I think there's a multitude of things we need to work together. So us all talking and cooperating is going to be the biggest key. I do think something has to be done differently. So I agree with Administrator Scott. And if we make changes, we just want to know the pros and cons of it, because every change is going to have its benefits, it's going to have its downsides, and we have to navigate through it. So My thing is, let's make sure that we're all just maybe communicating on if the bill's out later, then it's out later. I mean, we can't change it once it's happened, but let's try to get ahead of as many things as possible, communicate so that when residents get the information, they know why, the board knows why, and we're all saying the same thing.
Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
So just to let you all know, I send an email every week to the administrators and the mayor, which is Elizabeth Janice, the mayor. And it tells in every email, it tells you the bills is out. This is what district we're reading. This is was due. This credit card collections is up. Everything's up to date. So bills been sent to the printing company. They confirm they receive it. So they get these emails from me. Like I said, I'm not opposed to the change. The only reason why I'm speaking on it is because I do not have to staff to handle the call volume, the complaints from these bills being estimated. After speaking with the prior administrator, one of the things that she stated to me, she said, if the readings are not done by the cutoff date, you have to estimate the residents. You can fix it on the back end or on their next bill. The problem is that the residents want their bill fixed right then and there. So I don't have the manpower. I don't care about changing a date. I'm all for it. I just need the manpower to make this happen. I communicated when these bills went out for the first. When they got to the printing company responds. Elizabeth Janice and the mayor is on these emails. So they know when it's late. As far as the late fees, we didn't apply late fees from March through August. I had a conversation with Liz and I told her that, and I asked her, should we go ahead and begin the late fees starting in September? So late fees, she said yes. So late fees are now being applied. So commercial, industrial for August and September has been applied late fees, and District 3 late fees has started for District 3. So the late fees stopped from March through August, and I got the approval to go ahead and start applying. So only time that late fees was stopped if it was like an issue with the district or a billing issue, or when we used the old company. Janice had made the decision not to apply the late fees because this was before we switched, because it was a number of residents saying that they didn't receive the bill, so that 20-day grace period wasn't there. But I'm all for changing it. I think after today, I'm manpower, and I have to address these residents one by one and the calls, and I don't have the manpower. So I believe we should make this change. It probably in the long run, but I just think the notice when these cards we started immediately in District 2 and 3. These residents believe those yellow cards or those readings are due by the 15th. They're gonna turn them in by the 15th, but I will be billing by November 2nd. So all of the people who turn their cards in after the 2nd are gonna get estimated bills. They're gonna flop and my phones are gonna ring because they wanna know why they have an estimate and they turned in a yellow card. There was no notice. So every call I'm teaching, oh, this was a change, but there's no notice. That's my whole issue about this.
So I think we agree that that, and Giovanni is on here as well, as we can come up with a plan to get a notice and notify the residents that when this will start, that the bills will go back to previously. You'll get the bill at the beginning of the month. Be patient with us. There may be some estimated bills, but we're working to get the bills out earlier in the month instead of later in the month. Is that understandable? Is that something that we can do?
Yeah, absolutely. That's yes.
Ed, we're not, again, stop saying it's a change. It is not a change. We are going back to what we were originally doing.
I think what she's saying is, though, if I'm used to get my bill at the 25th, like I'm used to get my bill at the end of the month, but I don't really pay. So if I get at the beginning of the month, if I've been used to getting at the end of the 24th to 25th of the month for the last year, and then I'm going back to the first. It's going back to what it was. It's still a change back to what it was.
So
That-
what you're essentially saying is that over the past year, trustee, you've been used to getting your bill late. So it's gonna throw people off now to go back to the way it's supposed to be. People should not,
Exactly.
and I'm not, and I'm gonna speak for the residents now because I'm a little bothered by this. Residents should not get used to getting their bill late. Saying that for the past year, they've been getting their bill late, so now it's gonna be a shock. The shock is that the residents, the elected officials are tired of the complaints of not getting the bills out on time. So yes, this morning, this afternoon, I had conversation with Sonia. As I said to you, trustees, yesterday at the finance committee meeting, that I was gonna sit down with her and try to get it together. This to me is an emergency. I don't wanna wait January to try to get anything straight. I don't want to start and then be ready to launch January. I want to go back to the way things are supposed to be, the dates that people are familiar with. I think the outcry of the residents and what we hear all the time in the calls, the volume of calls that I get, it's very difficult for me to do village administrator work when I have to handle water bill complaints for 4 hours out of the day. Not only myself, but Ms. Johnson, we've had Sharon, we've had Sandra, we've had many people, especially when the water department was out of business for an extended amount of time. So Ms. London, with all due respect, I'm very familiar with the volume of complaints because I guarantee you I handle close to, if not as many as you do, not only myself, but other people in Village Hall. So at this point, I don't think it's productive to keep going back to what we think is going to happen. I think that we need to take action. I think this is serious. I don't think the residents are going to be upset if they keep saying my bill's late. If they keep saying that, why are we saying, but we should keep it the way it is because they're going to shock. We're trying to go back to what they want. So I think the residents have spoken. I think that the pressure, I'm going to be honest, that I receive from when department heads aren't on point or doing things that I think that would move the village forward, when the residents are complaining, I think it's very important to listen to the residents. So I'm a little upset right now, to be honest with you, because I don't even think that we should even be on this discussion as long as we have. I think the thing that we should be focused on is a solution and not what you think is going to happen or why you think it's not good. The residents have spoken in volume and they want the bills to be corrected when they go out. And I think that that's important.
I can only speak for myself. I don't think I'm saying that that we should keep it the way we are, but I think we all agree that some communication should be put out so to let the residents know that that it will go back to what they were used to. It's going back to the beginning of the month. I think there should be some communication with that.
Indeed. And like I had said before, we're going to put mailers out. I already talked to Giovanni today. Ms. London was in my office when I talked to Giovanni, and Giovanni said that she could put something out as soon as tomorrow. So these bills are not going out tomorrow. So people will get notice, and we are going to put notice in. We already spoke about it, and I think that it's going to be a positive movement. I think that overall the residents will end up being grateful that we're trying to do something different and make a change for the better.
Any input?
Liz, I understand your frustration, and I know we sat down and talked about this, and I told you I was for the going back to how we used to, even talking about my only concern about changing the dates back. And we're saying a year. It's been more than a year. It's been since even pulling the report, like as far as back 2015. The other concern is if the trustees don't have a billing district in front of them, so they're not following me. But if you look at the billing district for District 1, it covers the 3 months, and then it says your bill come out in September. It doesn't have a date. So even past management, they never had a date. I set the date by the 25th of each month or after. so that we can have a time frame. I just want to say, and that they're not coming out at different times. So when you say the bills are coming out late, that's not what the residents are speaking about. The district sheet says September. It doesn't give a date. They're not getting it to their homes till it's almost due. So they're like, why are the bills coming out late? Because they're looking at the due date of the 15th and they're getting it on the 10th. I've talked to so many residents. That's what they're speaking of. Even some of the former employees who are residents of Dalton, this is what they're speaking of. These bills are coming late. But like I said, I sent out an email every week when the bills went out, when they got to the printing company. So we've changed hands and there's a new person over the bills. She did a great job of getting District 1 out in like 24 hours. So maybe we'll see some improvements. I've sent several emails with letting them know like, hey, can we please get a 24 to 48 hour turnaround, because we're getting an excessive amount of complaints about bills getting out late. Even speaking to Liz today, she mentioned that the printing company said something because of COVID or whatever, they were behind. But as far as when I get the readings from Public Works or from the meter readers and they send it over, I do a review. I try to print a report and catch out any bad or high volumes. In 2 or 3 days, I get it to the printing company. So I always try to get the bills at least 5 days in advance from Public Works so we won't get extremely high bills. But again, to make the water department where you all need it to be, we are completely understaffed. It's a lot that goes on in the water department besides just taking payments. So I'm for the change. Whether we're not changing it or going back to how we use, I'm for all of that. I just wish we had the manpower to handle it. And we don't have that right now.
Okay,
so effective immediately, we're doing this change, but I'm optimistic about the whole change. I am, but the manpower is not there.
Okay, so we know that. So moving forward, we got a plan moving forward, and then we know the manpower is down. So we just got to get some more people over there. As far as even I don't know the process of, I don't get in touch, I don't get involved with the day-to-day hire. I try not to get involved with the hiring and firing and day-to-day progress. So hopefully we can move forward and get some manpower over there to help move it forward. And even if I don't know about Miss Jackie or Miss Trey or anybody, maybe we can get some people that know the process back. So, but let's move forward on that. Any other input?
But even so, Ed, knowing that we're behind, did anybody speak on the issue? If you're behind and we're constantly having this problem month after month after month, is anybody gonna speak up and say something that we need extra folks? You're saying we're behind in people, we're behind in manpower. If we're behind in staffing, that means that we can't do our job effectively, as mean as just getting these bills out on time. That means that we're not doing our part, getting it to the printer ain't getting it to be mailed out.
That's not true.
We have a disconnect here.
That's not true. So even though we're behind, I have to work 4 or 5 times as hard when it comes to manpower. The bills are, except for the COVID situation, the bills are getting to the printing company on time, except for COVID. Of course, I was out for all of June and a week and a half of July. After I returned, I got all caught up, but it results into no lunch, working late, working at home. Again, I only have 2 clerks, so I'm covering their lunch break as well. So the bills are on my end are not getting to your bill in your hand went out on time. That's not the issue. The issue is that from the post office, something's going on, because even in her response, she got the bill to the post office. So there's something with the post office. The bills are going out in the month that the billing district say is due.
Okay.
So I don't know why we keep saying the bills are late.
The bills
in District 1, it says the bill are due in September, and the bill went out in September, at the end of September. You don't pay until October.
The August bill should have been out in August. I was in the office when a resident come to complain. She had not
Right.
even received the bill. Now, this is the end of August going into September. She should have had the bill in August. This was September. She didn't even have the bill. So
Exactly.
to find out, the meter reader says, well, I didn't turn in the readings. Well, why didn't you turn in the readings? Well, I'm not finished yet. So when would you be done? 2 or 3 days from now. Okay, so why is it
Well,
taking you 2 or 3 extra days? So that means that if he'd have had the readings in, that means that it couldn't have went to the print on time. And that means it definitely didn't go out on time.
that's not
So
true.
again, we
So,
have, that's
mhm,
not true.
no.
All right,
That's
So,
true. That's true.
hold on. So here's what we do. That conversation, I guess we can have offline. Oh, but we have a plan moving forward.
yes.
We have a plan moving forward, and let's try to hold everybody accountable to that plan. So this will be the last conversation. What's today's date? October 1st. The last conversation about at any finance meeting or any public works meeting, any complaint. This is to be the last conversation we have about a bill going out late. Is that? Can we all agree to that,
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Ms. London?
And I'd like to add, you know, we're all, I think we're all understaffed. We're all overworked. And it's unfortunate, and we're trying to, you know, deal with the pandemic. But I know you made a comment, Sonia, about me being on emails, tagged on emails, and Janice being on emails, and that we see these emails. But I entrust, I get so many emails a day, and being tagged or CC'd on every email does not ensure that I'm going to read every email, because I entrust you as a department to make sound decisions.
Okay.
And that you are in a leadership position. So I cannot look at every time that you CC me on a meter reading or a reread. That is not my position as a village administrator. I trust that you are able to do your job and do your job without me having to peruse the email that you send. So I just wanted to say that, but I do think we have a plan moving forward. I think that it's going to be productive. I think anything's productive as long as we're trying to make change and make progress. And I think that we're here right now in this meeting because we care about the community, and we're trying to, we have a committee because we're trying to resolve the issue.
Yes.
So, you know, at times we're going to disagree about things, but we're all here for the community.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's all I had.
So in that, Trustee House, anything else that you want to add?
No, ask for me. I think administrator summed it up good.
Okay, so October 1st, we're no more. Let's say, I want to joke, but say it all together. No more late water bills for the village adult and residents moving forward. And we got a plan moving forward. And Giovanni Scott is on here, and I know she'll work hard and diligently to make sure that the proper communications go out. Anything else that anybody wants to add? Okay, we can move
No.
on. Huh? Somebody else? We're going to move on to citizens address. Giovanni, is there anything?
Yes, I'm here. We have a few comments. I will read them.
Okay.
The first question is, it's word for word. It says, here is a free one. The employees that are needed, how about if it's set up, they can work from home until this health situation is resolved?
Is that a reality, Miss London or Miss Scott?
I don't think it's a reality. I think the reality is that we're public servants, and we serve the community, and we have to be readily available. People can't come to our homes to have conversations with us, to bring us their water bills. So I have no issue with being in the water department. I don't think the issue is whether or not we work from home or we work in the office. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Ms. London?
No, I think it's more productive for us to be in the office.
Okay. All right.
The next is a series of a few comments. Someone stated that this sounds like a regular board meeting. The next comment says, true progress will be made. Continue the good work. And I believe that's the last one. I'll double check just to confirm. Yes, so that's the last comment for the evening.
Okay, so on that note, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn this evening's Public Works meeting.
And I'll second that motion to adjourn, and can I get a vote? Vote aye to adjourn this meeting. Tammy, you can vote aye. Aye to adjourn the meeting.
Aye, sorry.
All right. Well, thanks everyone to being on this meeting. And I appreciate everybody's input, and I see the sincere desire from everybody to really make this better progress and improve the service for the Village of Dalton residents. So thank you until we see you again or meet again. Peace.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.